Meet me in the foyer.
Hello and welcome. Thank you for meeting me in the foyer once again. I hope you've been well. We've overcome technical obstacles that try to keep us apart from making sure we bring you your weekly dose of up-to-the-minute movie news and latest film reviews, the box office top 10 and a classic movie retrospective from me. And joining me in the foyer, as always, to act as scout on our hunt for fresh film is Linda Marrick. How are you doing, Linda?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Good week?
A shambles so far, but not terrible.
Same. Say no more.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. I won't go into the internet difficulties and coming home tonight to find that the garage is locked and I can't get in. But and of course, it's bonfire night, so if you hear any funny noises, you'll know what's occurring.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like around
I
you.
have a terrified dog right next to me.
Mm.
I went out to do some grocery shopping, and I came back to him absolutely terrified. So he sat next to me. So yeah, it's horrible. I hate it. Can we just stop with fireworks?
Have to buy him some ear defenders.
Yeah,
so maybe some dog ear defenders or some Princess Leia style ear defenders. That's what you need.
Space buns.
That's right. So what are you going to be bringing us this week, Linda?
This week, I'm going to bring you something that I saw recently during the London Film Festival, a movie that is about to be released in cinemas for a couple of weeks, and then it will go onto Netflix afterwards. A movie called Train Dreams by Clint Bentley. Fabulous movie. And then I am also reviewing the new Predator movie, which rather surprised me. Let's just say.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to say the last one surprised me because I've never been a fan of the franchise and I thought it was very good. But
yeah. And it's the same director, so that tells you everything you need to know.
Interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to both of those then. But before we get to that, why don't we start, as we do these days, with the box office top 10.
Meet me in the foyer.
The box office top 10 as it stands, as we record. And at number 10, one battle after another. Still clinging on to the top 10, Paul Thomas Anderson's masterwork is still there in its sixth week and having made £11 million and still regarded by a certain critic of regard as the film of the year. So looking forward to seeing that eventually. At 9, the film that threw me completely off my stride last week, it's Pets on a Train, the French animated action comedy film in its second week. It's made 1.3 million, but I don't expect to see it again next week in the top 10.
Let's see.
You never know.
Well, it makes sense because it was half term last week. So
yeah, that's right. I was just.
Kids will watch anything really at half term.
Those poor kids. 8, it's Chainsaw Man, the movie, Reze Arc, Japanese dark fantasy animation based on manga stuff.
I've not seen it. So.
No, I haven't, and let's be honest, I'm not going to. 7, I Swear, in its fourth week on the charts, 5 million now made. You can catch Linda's review on one of our previous episodes if you subscribe to the Patreon. And I saw in the news this week that it's been nominated in the Independent Film Awards for one of the films of the year. It's going to be picking up the award there.
Yeah, although, like I said, it's going to be doing well. I think we'll get BAFTA nominations as well.
And I noticed Ballad of Wallace Island is in the nomination list as well. So
very pleased with that.
Good choices there. Above that, at number 6, it's Black Phone 2 in its third week on the chart, 3.2 million at the box office. And above that, something else for the kids, it's Gabby's Dollhouse the movie in its third week on the chart, which has made £5.2 million, which is
insane. But I think the popularity is due to it being a TV series. So,
yes,
it's understandable. Yeah.
Yes, although I don't think On the Bus is the movie ever made that much, but different times, I suppose. At number 4, dropped from number 1 last week, it's Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, the Scott Cooper directed biopic starring Jeremy Allen White. Number 3, Back to the Future, 40th anniversary. And I haven't had the opportunity to say this before, and this is a new experience for me. Reviewed by me on a previous episode, so go back and find that. I say reviewed, rambled on about.
No, review.
And number 2, Regretting You. Josh Boone's romantic drama in the second week on the chart, 3.8 million, which I've only heard bad things about from people who've been unfortunate enough to see it.
It's awful. I mean, as I say, it's an adaptation of Colleen Hoover book, and Colleen Hoover's books are not my favorite. And I mean, it's just a load of nonsense, really. I mean, it's just about saved by a good performance by Dave Franco, but then apart from that, nothing.
Fair enough. Yeah, so I did have the plot explained to me this week, and I couldn't follow it at all. So I don't know what was going on there. But something more interesting at number 1, Begonia, reviewed by Linda on last week's show, topping the charts in its first week on release.
It all starts with something magnificent. A flower, then a honeybee. The workers gather pollen for the queen.
Good morning, Corey. Good morning, Michelle.
But the bees, they're dying. And that's the way they planned it. To make us the same as the bees.
Let's go again.
But it is not in control anymore. We are.
Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I transparent?
How can you tell she's an alien?
Well, the signs are obvious. It all starts with something magnificent.
I mean, it will do well, I think. I'm actually quite surprised it's at number 1. It's, like it's a very bizarre movie, but then again, like Lanthimos having, with the Poor Things and The Favourite and all of those movies, he's become more of a mainstream director. I remember when he first started off, people were just like, "Where is this?" With films like The Killing of Sacred Deer and all of those really weird movies that he's made. I think to see his popularity now is almost surreal to me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's educating the masses with his art house projects, which can't be a bad thing. And that's the top 10 at the box office this week.
Meet me in the foyer.
Why don't we get into the meat of the show and what the reason we're all here? And it's to hear Linda give us a review. So time for Linda to log on, and this time she cuts to the chase and whittles us a review of Clint Bentley's Train Dream, starring Joel Edgerton and Felicity Jones. So has the director been able to realise their vision? Have they been able to see the wood for the trees?
World's an old place. Probably nothing it hasn't seen by now.
I don't know where the years go.
I feel it too. It's all going by so fast.
Bye-bye.
This world is intricately stitched together, boys. Every thread we pull, we know not how it affects the design of things.
Yeah. What do you do?
There must be something for us to learn from that.
I absolutely love this movie. I saw this, as I say, a while ago, like during LFF, but it wasn't the screening that I went to wasn't an LFF screening. I was actually invited to a Q&A screening where everyone in the movie, including the director and Joel Edgerton and everyone else who was in the movie, was involved. And I had just such a fantastic time. And I actually got to meet Joel Edgerton, who is an absolute gent, a fabulous guy, just fantastic actor, and I have nothing but good things to say about him. So, and since I've watched that movie, I just can't stop thinking about this movie. I can't stop thinking about the story. This is based on a novella, a really, really popular novella, and so it's and lesbian, so written by Dennis Johnson, and it's based in the 1900s American West, and as I say, it's a novella that's really very much loved by people. And every time I've mentioned that the film has been made, people who have been fans of the novella was like, oh, I can't imagine this as a movie, but it really works because even though the book is quite short, it works as a movie because it's about a tone, it's about feelings, it's about like how you imagine the inside your inside dialogue, a monologue. It's such a wonderful, it's beautifully written and beautifully directed, and the music, the composer is just perfect. So let's get into it. So it's one of those rare films that you don't just want to watch, you want to feel it. It moves with like a rhythm of a memory, like it's almost like you are in someone's dream. It's fluid, it's hypnotic, and it's really overwhelming, and it's terribly sad at times as well. So, as I said, directed by Clint Bentley, fabulous director, really great director, and co-written by Greg Guida. The film balances somewhere between reality and a dream, but like it's mostly someone narrating his own life. It's the Joel Edgerton character that is called Robert Gaynor or Garnier. He's a wood chopper, basically. He worked for a while in placing like big sort of roads of big blocks of wood onto build that helped to build the American railway. But he is really firstly a someone who works in wood, chopping trees and making so turning sort of this really green areas of the West into more or less sort of like arid, deserted lands. And within that kind of job that he has, he's got a sort of, he finds himself asking the question, is what I'm doing a good thing? Are these trees going to grow again? Am I doing more? Am I harming nature but by having this job? He's a laborer whose simple life is transformed by love, loss, and relentless march of modernity. When tragedy strikes his family, Robert retreats into the wilderness where he grapples with grief and the fading frontier spirits. Spanning decades, the story becomes a haunting portrait of isolation and of march in progress, a progress that doesn't care about what it tramples on, basically. Visually, the movie is nothing short of stunning. Bentley and cinematographer Adolfo Veloso embrace the open expanse of nature, wide skies, trembling forests, rivers glinting in the fading light, creating a landscape that mirrors the inner world of its characters. Even the film's depiction of mid-century progress, the shift from the steam to motor, from timber to concrete steel, is rendered with an impressively precise touch. What truly anchors this haunting beauty is Joel Edgerton's extraordinary performance. He is just absolutely incredible. And I genuinely would like to see him nominated for an Oscar for this because we've seen him in films like this where he plays this kind of like quietly sort of taciturn serious guy, a
Mm.
guy who's got a hurt in him, like someone who's carrying the world on his back, and there is something in his life that's happened to make him that kind of person. Felicity Jones also stars in the film. She stars as Robert's wife Gladys. She and Edgerton create something that feels less like a romance, more like a lingering ache, a reminder of how meeting her and falling in love with her can has shaped the person he is, and then the loss of that goes on to shape the rest of his life. This is someone who met and fell in love and had a family, and then as you know, things happen in the middle of it, and he winds up losing all of that. Also, there are some other performances that are really excellent. Kerry Condon, who we saw in the F1 movie,
Yes.
and in Banshees of Inisherin, fabulous Irish actress. She plays a forestry service worker who befriends Grania um, later in life, and there is like a kind of a, at one moment you think they are going to fall in love, and or one of them is going to fall for the other, but no, their friendship is just full of sort of admiration for each other's view of the world, and that's what makes it really beautiful and really interesting. And this ability to have two characters of the opposite sex seeing in each other more than that what they are. It's not just a thing about being attracted to each other physically, or it's just that they find friendship through the love of nature, through the love of what they see in front of them. I think that particular relationship for me is a very strong one. It's also a really wonderful performance by William H. Macy. It's a small but memorable supporting role. He plays an older sort of he plays an older woodworker who comes in and out of Robert's life, and meets a kind of a gruesome end.
Mm.
Um, well, not gonna, I wouldn't say gruesome, but just an end that's almost poetic.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, this is for me, in an age of spectacle and noise and uh, big action set pieces, this film dares to whisper. It invites you to slow down and breathe and notice the space between moments. This is just simply stunning, and I'm afraid to say this is now overtaken one battle after another. This is my favorite film of the year now. Um,
Oh,
I just, it might not be everyone's favorite movie of the year, but for me, this is just absolutely gorgeous. It's very slow, but at the same time, you know what? It reminded me of, we talked about Kelly Reichardt a couple of weeks ago about her movie making, when we were talking about the Mastermind,
yes.
about her movie making, and how she makes films about people, about people's interaction with each other, about inner monologue, about how we see ourselves and how other people see us, and how it's like a study in, it's almost like making a film about what it is to be human. And to me, this is exactly it. And I just give me a million movies like this over, your throwaway blockbuster movie that gets churns. We get in, week in, week out. I genuinely feel like I really want people to go and see this and understand what it's about. And I'm sure this is going to be very popular anyway, because as I said, the book is a really much loved book, and as I say, so many people talked about it, and it's yeah, I have nothing else to to add really. I just absolutely love this movie, and I really hope that you can go and see it, and I hope that it wins as many awards as possible. Not that awards are important, but it is important for production companies. This is a
Mm.
Netflix movie, by the way. It is important for Netflix to have films like this because that means these scripts get made, and if people are seeing them, it's even better. I understand that Netflix also makes a loads of films for prestige only to get these nominations for the Oscars and BAFTAs, and it's important for them, even if they're not making money out of these movies. It is important for them to have these movies in the running, and to keep making these movies because they are their prestige movies. And the one good thing about it is that if they make more of them, if more people go and see this, they will be making more of them, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. No, it sounds fabulous. It's so, yeah, as
Yeah.
you say, it's yet another movie that will get what is it, 2 weeks in the cinema before heading
Mm.
to streaming.
Yeah.
And I'm completely on the fence as to what I think about that at the moment because
I'm completely against it, obviously, because there was a time where Netflix were making movies. They were making movies and letting them be in the cinema for longer, for a good sort of a few months,
mm,
and it wasn't even that long ago. I think what's happened is that during the pandemic, when everything pretty much was going into streaming straight away, that kind of habit of sort of they've changed their way of doing stuff, and
yes,
it's become I just feel like, like we were talking about the Catherine Bigelow movie that went again into was out for a couple of weeks and then went into Netflix, and it
yeah,
was met by kind of bafflement by a few people watching it. It's like, oh, this movie just stops at the end. I don't understand it. Why? It's because it's not that kind of movie.
mm,
It's not a movie that's about it's not a disaster movie. And I think that's what loads of people expected it to be. Not a disaster movie. It's a very political movie where, it's also a movie about the moment in time we find ourselves in. So I think Netflix need to be very careful about these kind of things. And I think if you've got a gorgeous movie like a Catherine Bigelow movie, let it be in cinemas for a bit longer for cinema fans to go and see it, because they'll be
yeah.
more welcoming of it and of its ending, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be a film has to be in the cinema for sort of 2 months, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, well,
I mean, it may not last that long. Films don't always last that long, but it has to have that possibility before going to streaming because 2 weeks is nothing. Um,
they used to have them on for 6 weeks.
yeah,
This was before the pandemic, and then I don't
okay.
know what's happened to that. So.
And I assume because I should know this, but I've got a funny feeling that they have to be theatrical, don't they, to qualify for the awards. So
Mhm.
they're kind of giving it this cursory time just to
Mm.
qualify, really. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that actually, but that might have changed because you have Apple has also got movies in the running, and they don't really release their movies that much on
that
in
is
cinemas.
true.
So
Yeah, that'd be
so
worth looking into.
but I'm going to look into it, but
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. Sorry.
No, sorry. Um, no, yeah, I mean, this does sound really interesting, and as I say, I'm slightly torn because it should have longer in the cinema, but also this is a sort of film that, being generalizing cruelly about modern cinema audiences, I feel will get far more on streaming. But
You
obviously,
think it's the same? If I don't know if I agree, maybe that's true, but like I just remember when the oh my God, the Jane Campion movie from a few years ago, The Power of the Dog. When The Power of the
oh,
Dog,
right, yeah,
I saw The Power of the Dog at a festival, and I just was just like absolutely fell in love with it, and
mm,
it remained my favorite movie of that year. And then it went out to cinemas, and people watched it, and everyone loved it. And then when it ended up going to into Netflix, because of the nature of Netflix, and it's a very mainstream platform. It's not movie. So I remember people going, "Oh, this is so slow. It's so boring," because people just don't understand that kind of cadence. They don't understand that kind of like type of movie making.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, no, you could be right. You could be right, but it does have Joel Edgerton in it, who I love as well.
I do.
I remember first seeing him in a TV series whilst I was at uni called The Secret Life of Us,
Oh yeah,
an Australian series which was fabulous, and we all
yeah.
got addicted to that. And
I just
yeah,
love him. He's such a great guy.
yeah, marvelous actor. Well, no, that's fascinating, absolutely, and I'm definitely going to seek that one out myself. Great cast as well,
Yeah.
Edgerton, Felicity Jones, Kerry
Mm.
Condon, and William H.
William H.
Macy.
Macy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
brilliant
he's
cast, wonderful stuff. So Indecisive Linda has replaced her favourite film of the year with a new one. You did promise us
they're
last
both
time that
they
nothing was
are
going to come
both
out.
yeah. They are both my favorite films of the year, but like because of I yeah, they're both brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. The reason why I love one better after another is because it's completely mental, and I like this. I like the sort of audacity of it. I love the
Mm,
audacity of making a film like this in these times where people are like just want the same thing. They want popcorn and they want the same old stories, the same old sort of like narratives. Making a movie like one better after another in a time like this for me is more courageous than making any other movie.
mm,
And similarly, Train Dreams for me is also actually it's in the same vein. It's a very audacious way of making movies. It's like not giving almost like not giving a shit about it being like maybe it could be jarring to some, or it could be
mm.
sort of end up being a little bit boring for some, but for those who enjoy those kind of stories told in that way, it's just brilliant.
Yeah,
But yeah,
well, that's what we want.
I
And
know.
that reminds me, actually, I didn't mention during the top 10 that I read some comment about Begonia this week saying that someone had said, "Oh, people come out saying, oh, we don't want remakes and the same old movies," and then someone makes Begonia and no one wants to see it. It's sort of typical
Exactly.
audience. What can you do? What can you do? So fantastic. So that's our first review of the week. So now, why don't we look at the news headlines?
Meet me in the foyer.
What's in the news this week? It might be more headline grabbing if the opposite were being reported, but it has been reported that John Williams will score his 30th Steven Spielberg film, the UFO movie, starring Josh O'Connor, Emily Blunt, Colin Firth, Coleman Domingo, and Eve Hewson, due in summer 2026. And of course, John Williams is now 93, so I wish him well, but we may not have many more Spielberg collaborations to look forward to, so
Yeah.
I'm sure this will be another cracker. We have a trailer for Scream 7.
This is it.
Can't believe we're staying at the Psycho Killer B&B.
Oh, that's so cool. It's a motion detector.
Hello?
Hello, Sydney. Did you miss me? Nice little town you found. You and your pretty daughter. Reminds me of where we grew up.
Well, you sure know a lot about me for another asshole hiding behind a voice changer.
Oh, I'm not hiding, Sydney. Not this time.
Down to the end. I want to be a fighter like you. If you heard
I'm not going to hurt her until you're here to see it.
Let's unmask this fucker.
All your friends died for just being near you.
Where is my daughter? Tatum, listen to me. He's trying to find another way in. We're gonna do this together. You're gonna have to shoot him through the wall. Where? To the right of the door. Shoot him now! Do it now! Oh, you got it. He's dead. You need to make sure you shoot him in the head.
I'm gonna burn it all down.
Mother...
This is gonna be fun.
Which sees Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott return to the franchise that, for me, having started as a sharp, ironic look at the cliches and tropes of the horror genre, has committed a far worse crime than any of those previous by-the-numbers and cash-in franchise films, as it has fallen prey to the same flaws and sins, despite satirising and criticising them in its own series. And I found the last two absolutely tedious beyond belief. So I'm not sure if I'll see this one.
Yeah, I thought they were not too bad, actually. I thought I thought they were actually okay, quite entertaining, and they did really well in box office.
Yes, they
I'm
did.
not looking forward to the third one. I think just like enough.
I remember the last one. I seem to recall the last one looking very much like a TV movie, like it was shot at quite a low budget.
I liked Melissa Barbera. I think she's fantastic. I don't think she's going to be part of the third one, so which is a bit sad. And the reason why she lost that job is even more disappointing. I won't go on about it, but if you know, you know.
Okay. I feel like I'm going to have to do some research after the show. And we may have two Roadhouse sequels competing for our attention in the near future, as whilst Nobody director Isla Nashula is working on a sequel to the Conor McGregor cameoing 2024 remake with Jake Gyllenhaal and Dave Bautista, the director of the 2024 film, Doug Liman, who publicly fell out with Amazon for reneging on a promise to give the film a theatrical release, has quietly bought up the rights to Roadhouse Dylan, a sequel to the original 1989 Swayze starring movie written by the original writer, David Lee Henry, aka R. Lance Hill. So potentially two Roadhouses in the cinemas or streaming at the same time. I have to admit, I've not seen the original or the remake, or
of course you haven't,
or the straight to DVD sequel to the original that we've already had. But less said about that one, the better, apparently. We've got a trailer for 100 Nights of Hero, Julia Jackman's film starring Emma Corrin, Charlie XCX, Richard E. Grant, and Felicity Jones again, due to hit cinemas early 2026.
If I see not even a hint of pregnancy after 101 nights.
Very specific.
I am very specific, young lady. You will not see next spring.
Tell me what to do.
Whatever the lady wants.
I feel a bit strange. Can I have some water, please?
Yeah, I saw that a while ago, actually. I can't say that I'm a huge fan, personally. It's a movie that closed London Film Festival. I think there's some good in there, but
it wasn't meant to close it. It was just so bad that it closed the festival.
It's just, I think it will annoy you personally. I'm someone who really likes pretentious stuff, and I couldn't stomach it. So
wowzers! Yes, I mean the images I've seen do look like it is that sort of film, but always prepared to give it a try. And there are reports that a Mummy sequel might be in the works, and original lead actors Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are in talks to return to the not actually that great franchise that was pretty mediocre to begin with and was followed by increasingly average sequels. So, as you may be able to tell, my enthusiasm is very
dare
much buried
you.
under a desert of apathy. But we'll see what spirit arises when the film franchise is raised from the dead. Are you like the Mummy film?
Oh, I love the original. I love the original one. I think the first one is just such a lovely film. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'll give it its fair dues. I didn't see the Mummy until about 2 years ago, and it's sort of been swept up in a sea of Indiana Jones imitations, and yeah, no, but yeah, I did watch all of them though, so I committed to the cause, and yeah, that's the news for this week.
Meet me in the foyer.
Up next, a review of Dan Trachtenberg's sequel to Terrence Malick's 1973 film Badlands. But this time, rather than Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek, they've decided to put a predator in it. So, does the radical change of direction work? Let's be honest, whatever they do, a lot of the Predator fans are just as toxic as the Alien franchise fans and won't be happy however the film was made and think they know better than the filmmakers who made these worldwide smash box office topping franchises. But it's over to Linda to find out where this 9th film in the franchise falls.
So this is your first hunt. And you've come to the most dangerous planet in the universe. You're after a creature that can't be killed. The definitive apex predator. I could help you. Well, good luck with your journey. Here, you're not the predator. You're the prey. We might not be alone in this hunt.
Linda?
I think you're in agreement with me that the movie Prey from 2021, is that right?
That
2021?
sounds right, yes.
Or 2022, I can't remember, was just such a ballsy sort of like audacious, if I'm not repeating myself, way of sort of rebooting of the Predator franchise. Predator franchise has had its ups and downs, and Predator Alien versus Predator, that was even worse. And I have never been a huge fan of a Predator. The franchise I do like Alien a lot, but Predator never really worked on me. But seeing what Prey was, I was flabbergasted that they had the audacity to make a film that's that sort of ambitious. And I will spare you the synopsis of Prey. I just say go and watch it again, because it's just such a fantastic movie, and it comes out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere to be in one of my favorite films of that year, and just really impressive stuff. So this is made by the same director, and as soon as I knew this was going to be made by the same Dan Trachtenberg, as soon as I knew this was going to be made by the same character, I kind of relaxed knowing he was going to do something even more audacious, and he does. I just think it's such a fantastic thing. So this isn't just another entry in the saga. It's a bold reimagining, and a film that dares to turn the entire myth of the of a franchise inside out. So yeah, set on a remote planet in the far future, the film follows Deck, who is the creature, the predator creature. This is like a film from the point of view of the predator creature, which is really good. So his name, he's played by you don't see him, he looks like an alien, obviously. So like he's voiced by Dimitrius Schuster-Koloamatangi. I'm really sorry if I got this wrong, and it's really hard.
I'll say.
He's a young Yutka cast out of his clan for being too small. He's like the runt of the family and too weak and too different. So he's exiled by his own father, and he makes his way to a planet, like a sort of almost like a prehistoric planet, like think of Earth before, during the reign of the dinosaurs, and it's like everything on that planet is out to kill you and get you if you don't kill it first. So along the way, he meets Thea, a malfunctioning Wayland Yutani synthetic, brought to life with the played by brilliant Elle Fanning. I adore Elle Fanning. I don't think she's brilliant in everything she's ever been in, but she's someone who everything she's in, I just warm to that character. And here she is exactly, again, like there's something about Elle Fanning's performances in every movie, is that she adds humanity even to this, like a robot, she adds humanity to these characters, and I think she's absolutely fantastic. As I say, I don't think she's been brilliant in everything, but I've liked everything she's been in. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the movie takes huge swings, and most of them connect. So Trachtenberg's decision to make the Predator into the core of the story, it feels almost rebellious. It pays off with surprising depth. For the first time, the creature isn't just a symbol of unstoppable power. It's a being struggling with his own or its own identity and purpose. The dynamics between him and Thea in the film turn this into almost like a buddy movie. It's like a sort of a movie about two people who don't really like each other to start with, but have to work together for to get to where they need to be, and then somewhere along the way they form a friendship, and they start realizing that they have formed a new family, basically.
Right.
So it's the cinematography here is absolutely incredible. So Jeff Cutter captures alien deserts and neon storms and the grandeurs of like this sort of prehistorical planet in an amazing way, especially in the physical stuff. There are some action set pieces with the fight and stuff, but like I think the most impressive stuff is also the hand-to-hand physical fights. There are some really interesting ideas here as well. So some like some really human stuff, no, it's just like, but that is actually, it felt more like an alien movie rather than a Predator, because I've always found Predator a bit flimsy, like the tone of the heart of the story in Predator has always felt a bit flimsy, a bit not important. But here it does feel like it's attempting to tell a story about someone's humanity. Well, I mean, it's bizarre that I say humanity, whatever you mean, being. Obviously, neither of them are human. She's a robot and he's an alien. So to say humanity, what I mean is like looking into yourself to try and wonder who you are. And I think that's really important here. This isn't just another sequel, obviously, as I say. It's a statement. It's proof that even a monster franchise can evolve without losing what made it into what it is. It's bold, it's bizarre, it's unexpectedly moving. It's also the kind of risk-taking sci-fi that we should all be encouraging filmmakers to be making. I loved it. I thought it was so well done. I thought it's not perfect, sometimes it gets the tones and the pacing a bit wrong, but it's not a very long movie and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's really well done. It's well performed. And it's got a really good story in it. So yeah, perfect. I really liked it.
Fantastic. No, I mean, I was to say, when you said it's directed by the same director as Prey, I absolutely, my heart sang, because I thought that was such a wonderful movie. And you're almost reading my mind that first few minutes, because I've never been a fan of the Predator films. I've always thought they were, Predator 1's okay. It's just big, dumb fun. Lots of stupid one-liners from macho Marines. And I mean, admittedly, it does have perhaps the line that was my favorite for a long time in my life, because it was so stupid, when someone said to Jesse the Body Ventura, you're bleeding, and he just replied, I ain't got time to bleed. And I thought that was such a dumb line that I absolutely loved it. But yeah, the rest are just really boring, and the Predator's not interesting. As you say, it's a weak core, because the premise is he's a hunter, but he's got all these weapons that make it sort of, he's unbeatable. And I know you were critical of the Alien versus Predator films, but as such a huge Alien fan, I have actually got both of those on my DVD shelf. They are dreadful, but
awful movies, yeah.
but Prey was wonderful, so I'm really excited about this. And as you say, having Elle Fanning in it, even better. I think obviously I saw her in Complete Unknown, but prior to that saw her wonderfully in Rainy Day in New York, and of course the fantastic TV series The Great, which was absolutely superb. So no, this is brilliant. I like your notion as well that it's like a buddy movie. It's like, it's not good cop bad cop, it's cyborg cop alien cop. No, this sounds
plus
brilliant.
a very cute creature that becomes very important towards the end.
We do always like a little cute creature, like in was it Jurassic World Rebirth, wasn't it?
That's right,
Which was, I mean, I know we're not reviewing that film, but that was bonkers. The dad was really protective, and then he's just like, oh yeah, we just take that dinosaur and put it in your bag. That's fine. Absolute lunacy. What can you do? So this is out now, isn't it? I believe
so. No, it's out.
This weekend.
Yes, weekend.
Yeah. Wonderful. I might actually go and see that myself. And only 107 minutes long. So it's marvelous.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's your second review for this week.
Meet me in the foyer.
And now
the end is near.
That's right. Yes. And now the end is near. But before you escape, you have to sit through another of my classic movie reviews. And what is my movie this week? Well, I'll give you a clue. It was released in the second week of December 1985. It's directed by the man who also brought us Nuns on the Run and My Cousin Vinny. It's based on a board game, and the star would also play a doctor on a Russian submarine, Cardinal Richelieu, Long John Silver, Gomez Adams, a very mean hotel desk clerk, and a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. Have you got it yet? If you have, well done. If not, the answer is Tim Curry in the movie Clue with the multiple endings. Yes, that's right. This week I'll be reviewing 1985's Clue, one of my favourite comedies of the decade.
Every person in this room has the perfect motive.
Stand back!
For murder.
What do you mean? Murder.
But only one of these suspects is the murderer. Is it the timid Mr. Green?
Why are you screaming? Because I'm frightened of what? Screaming!
Or the militant Colonel Mustard?
If I was the killer, I would kill you next.
Huh?
Said if. If.
Mrs. White, who helped her husband on his way.
Well, it's a matter of life after death. Now that he's dead, I have a life.
Miss Scarlet, who's helped many men along the way.
Practice makes perfect.
Professor Plum, who's looking for a way.
I'm looking.
Mrs. Peacock,
I have absolutely no idea what we're doing here, but I am determined to enjoy myself.
or did the butler do it?
No.
Paramount Pictures invites you to an evening of mystery,
Let us out!
murder,
This is getting quite serious.
and madness. In the movie that makes a scene of the crime.
So who did it?
Clue. It's not just a game anymore.
So Clue is an American black comedy mystery film based on the board game Clue, or Cluedo, as we rightly know it, written and directed by Jonathan Lynn, who co-wrote the story with John Landis, who had planned to direct himself. Jonathan Lynn, I have to say, I do love Jonathan because Nuns on the Run is absolutely one of my favourite films. And I should emphasise the word favourite. I'm not saying it's one of the best films, but it's a film I love from my childhood. So, Clue. It's 1954, and 6 strangers are invited to a secluded New England mansion. Each guest is greeted by the butler Wadsworth and the maid Yvette, and receives a pseudonym to maintain confidentiality. Colonel Mustard, Mrs. White, Mrs. Peacock, Mr. Green, Professor Plum, and Miss Scarlet. During dinner, they discover they all hold government influence before being joined by Mr. Body, who has been blackmailing everyone for some time. Wadsworth has called the police to arrest Body, but Body threatens to expose everyone's secrets if they turn him in. He then presents the 6 guests with weapons: a candlestick, rope, lead pipe, wrench, revolver, and dagger, and suggests someone kill Wadsworth to protect their secrets before turning out the lights. After a gunshot rings out, Body is found on the floor, seemingly dead. So it's all fairly familiar if you've ever played the game Cluedo or seen that strange attempt at making a TV show out of it with Richard of Richard and Judy, whose surname I can't remember at the moment. Madeley, that's right. Thank you, Linda. A terrible TV show, but and also it's a sort of source of murder mystery weekends and parties up and down the country. So it stars Ellen Brennan as Mrs. Peacock, Tim Curry as Wadsworth, Madeline Kahn as Mrs. White, Christopher Lloyd as Professor Plum, Michael McKean as Mr. Green, Martin Mull as Colonel Mustard, Lesley Ann Warren as Miss Scarlet, Colleen Camp as Yvette, Lee Ving as Mr. Body, Bill Henderson, the cop, Jane Weedland as the singing telegram girl, Jeffrey Kramer as the motorist, Kelly Nakahara as the cook, or Mrs. Ho, and Howard Hesseman makes an uncredited appearance as the chief of police. So actually, originally, Carrie Fisher was going to play Miss Scarlet, and she was cast in the role, but she had to withdraw right at the last minute for treatment for her drug and alcohol problems. So she was replaced by Lesley Ann Warren, and you wouldn't tell because Warren's one of the best actors in it. She's absolutely brilliant as the sort of salacious, sexy Miss Scarlet who runs a what we call an escort agency in Washington. And the first choice for Wadsworth was actually Leonard Rossiter, but he died just before filming commenced, so a slightly cursed production, you might think. And I can really imagine Rossiter giving his sort of hysterical, manic performance as the butler running up and down the stairs like he used to do as Reginald Perrin. That would be amazing. But and then in fact, Curry wasn't even the second choice, because their second choice was Rowan Atkinson, but they decided he wasn't sufficiently famous and well known at the time, so Tim Curry was cast, and the entire cast apparently received the same salary and billing despite their different levels of notability at the time. Now, I mean, Curry's verbal dexterity is really on show here, and it's actually my favourite Tim Curry performance. I know there were bigger ones and more sort of extreme ones and more cult ones, but this for me is the Tim Curry performance, and he's actually cited it as one of his own favourites of his performances. It's got some brilliant physical comedy from Curry, and especially Michael McKean. He is hilarious in this film. The moment that see, I worried that this film had aged, or I was enjoying it on a sentimental basis alone. I can't remember when I first saw it, but I was very young, maybe under 10. And um, but rewatching it this week, I was still absolutely roaring with laughter, especially the moment when Mrs. Peacock loses her mind because she thinks she's being poisoned. She starts screaming and screaming and screaming, and McKean just takes her, sits her down, and starts slapping her hard across the face, and then turns to the rest of the group and just says, "I had to stop her screaming." Just absolutely brilliant. And then he does pratfalls throughout the film, just marvelous. In fact, the whole cast are on top form, and I'll give special praise to the three ladies. Eileen, Brennan as Mrs. Peacock, Madeline Kahn as Mrs. White, and Lesley Ann Warren as Miss Scarlet, who for years I actually thought was Susan Sarandon. It wasn't until the internet came along and you could actually look up a film that I looked up the cast and was like, oh, it's Lesley Ann Warren. That's not Susan Sarandon. But to me, I do have slight problems identifying people's faces, but they look so much alike. I think they should play sisters in something. I think that would be perfect. And Madeline Kahn is just brilliant in absolutely everything. You know, such a loss that she died so young. And in fact, even after I looked up the cast list and saw it was Lesley Ann Warren, who's in an excellent episode of Columbo, but that's an aside. Me and my sister carried on arguing about it because she still insists it is Susan Sarandon. So we'll carry on fighting about that till the grave. So the whole cast are fantastic. There's loads of really sharp dialogue in there, lots of witty one-liners. And it's the cast really that sell it. You know, their performances are fantastic. It's kind of like a filmed stage play in a way. Really, really good. And I noticed this time as well, a nice little bit of writing that in the middle of the film when they have to go searching the house to see if there's anyone else still in the building, they actually all pair off with the last person that they would want to be paired off with. So, you know, as an example, at one point, Wadsworth says to Mrs. White, was it no man in his right mind would want to be alone with you? And of course, they get paired off to go and search together in the house. And as it's true for each partnership, they all hate each other and end up searching the houses alone. Brilliant. I'd say the only weak link really is Mr. Body, but I can only assume it's quite hard to find an actor for a role that's going to be dead in the first 20 minutes. So it's probably just had to take what they could get. But so it starts with just sort of a scene of clouds and a mysterious theme, and the theme's got a sort of psycho influence to it, which upon research makes sense because it's by John Morris, who wrote the score to this and to The Elephant Man, which I discussed the other week. And he'd also previously worked on a lot of films with Mel Brooks. So he did The Young Frankenstein, he did Blazing Saddles, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother, Silent Movie, and importantly, he did High Anxiety, his Hitchcock spoof. So that might be where the psycho element's coming from. And he also did History of the World Part 1, Yellowbeard, The Woman in Red, Spaceballs, and most surprisingly, he actually scored Dirty Dancing. So the producer, Deborah Hill, was the one who acquired the rights to adapt the game from the Parker brothers, and that was back in '81. She actually mentioned her plan to adapt it to P.D. James, the English author of the Adam Dalgliesh stories, and she was reported to have been writing the original draft with multiple endings in the plan, because this film it's probably what the film is most famous for. It has 3 different endings, and when it was originally released, it would be sent to a cinema with one of the 3 endings, and no one knew which one they were going to get, A, B, or C. And a lot of critics think that's why the film was actually a flop at the box office. It made 14.5 million against its budget of 15 million. So it was a big old flop, but it's become a huge cult film ever since. And actually, if you buy the film if anyone does buy physical media anymore, I mean, I know I do, you get you can either watch one of the endings randomly, or you can watch all three back to back, which I think works really well. So it's actually John Landis's. Although that it was always planned to have three endings, it was John Landis who developed the idea of the three endings, and he was, as I said earlier, going to direct, and he involved playwright Tom Stoppard to write on it, and composer Stephen Sondheim, and Anthony Perkins was involved as well. So another Psycho connection. But Jonathan Lynn came in and finished the script, and then was invited to direct it. And they had planned to be a fourth ending, but they didn't. They scrapped that one because Landis thought it was a terrible idea for that fourth one. So it was filmed at Paramount Studios on 2 stages, and they filled the set with genuine antiques they had rented, including items from Theodore Roosevelt's collection. And after completion, apparently the set was bought by the makers of Dynasty, and they used it for one of their sets for the remainder of that run. Yeah, I mean, all of the effects, it's full of visual and sound effects, which are sort of classic horror staples. You know, your bolts of lightning, your thunder, your howling dogs, the wind, the rain. It's all sort of spoofing classic murder mystery horror house films of the sort of Universal horror era. So, but it's set in the 50s, and apparently they based the sort of, or sorry, Lynn told the actors to play it like His Girl Friday, and he made them all watch that. So they all deliver their dialogue in that really high speed, fast delivery screwball manner. So you've got a sort of screwball film set in the 50s, made in the 80s, and it all just comes together really well. I think it's absolutely fabulous. And despite it all being scripted, there's a brilliant part in it where Madeline Kahn is talking about her rage at finding her husband was cheating on, and she's talking about flames licking my face. Apparently that was improvised, but she was such a wonderful comic actress, absolutely brilliant. And the whole film, as I say, is delivered in a sort of frantic, fast, manic, hysterical manner. It's very fast paced, and there's lots of running around. There's wonderful moments where you get the cast running past an open doorway all in a big gang, like it's Scooby-Doo or something like that, and then they'll run back the other way. Lots of slapstick and screwball elements. There are lots of obviously it's an adaptation of the game Cluedo, as I say, and there are lots of little nods, like the names and the murder weapons, and even the characters' cars are all actually the same color as the characters' pieces in the board game. So, for example, Colonel Mustard drives a yellow Cadillac, and blah blah blah, on with all those other characters. I mentioned the flop. Now, I think it's either all the critics said it was because of the multiple endings. I can't help but think they got the release time wrong, because it was released on the 13th of December in 1985. And for me, I mean, it's a Halloween film, surely. It should have come out in October. So that can't have helped. But you know, it is what it is. It went on to be a big cult success after that. There's been a novelization. There's been a stage play of it as well. And there have been plans for quite a while for a remake. Apparently, Gore Verbinski was developing a new Clue film, and Hasbro have been interested, as have 20th Century Fox, and Ryan Reynolds has been trying to adapt it as well for about 3 years, and with Jason Bateman attached. So we'll see. It might get remade. I can't imagine it'll capture the sort of magic of that original with that brilliant cast. It was paid tribute to in an episode of Psych called 100 Clues, where Martin Mull, Christopher Lloyd, and Lesley Ann Warren all turned up playing suspects in a series of murders at a mansion. And the episode was made in memory and dedicated to Madeline Kahn. So as I say, the critics hated it. The New York Times panned it, apparently, writing that the beginning is the only part of the film that is remotely engaging. After that, it begins to drag. Gene Siskel said of the Chicago Tribune, gave it 2.5 out of 4, writing that Clue offers a few big laughs early on, followed by a lot of characters running around on a treadmill to nowhere. He criticised the decision to release the film to theatres with 3 endings, calling it a gimmick. And he said that Clue is a movie that needs 3 different middles rather than 3 different endings. And Roger Ebert gave it 2 out of 4 as well. I completely disagree, as does the audiences, really, because it's got 73% on Rotten Tomatoes, which for a film which was a total bomb and hated by critics, tells you that audiences don't care. And they just wanted to see this film, which I think is wonderfully funny. Everyone's on top form. It goes at 100 miles an hour. It's, even with 3 endings running back to back, I think it's still only an hour and a half. Yeah, just brilliant line deliveries, wonderful physical comedy. I laughed all the way through. I think it stands the test of time, which was my big worry. So I think really, the audience is the winner on this one. And now I'm going home to sleep with my wife. The only problem is I don't have a wife, so I'm just going home. So that's my review of Clue.
The issue with the critics is that they just don't get comedy. You know, especially like broadsheet critics. I mean, they're a dying breed anyway, so I wouldn't worry about them. They just don't get comedy. They see no value in things like that, and it's a big mistake for me. I love comedy, and I think comedy can be as good as any like sort of serious drama. But hey.
And I think it is fair to say that a lot of comedies do have that sort of front-loaded, all the jokes at the start, and then it does drag in the middle. Sorry, they can drag in the middle, and then by the end, they'll probably go for a bit of pathos. So it is all the laughs in the first half hour. But this film doesn't fall into that for me. I think it's laughs all the way through, and it certainly doesn't go for the pathos, because that would be a huge mistake. So yeah, as I say, that's Clue, and well, that's it for this episode of Meet Me in the Foyer. It's time to pack away the game for another week, as that's the end of play, and I think we're all winners. The hunt is over, and it's time we jumped another train and headed off into the wilderness until the tracks bring us rattling back just in time for another episode of Meet Me in the Foyer, due at platform 1 in 7 days. So for now, thank you for watching and listening. Thank you, Linda, for more great insight and recommendations. And I think I hear the conductor's whistle, so time to board. Goodbye and good luck, and see you soon.
Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, leave comments, ask us questions, and all that good stuff.
Yes, do all of that, absolutely. And as I said during the show, subscribe to the Patreon, and you can hear everything, all uncut, even the rude bits. Everyone.
Adieu.
That's right. Au revoir, mon ami.
See you. Bye.
Meet Me in the Foyer.